Hello everybody and welcome back to another World of Warcraft Cataclysm Patch 4.2 DPS guide. As always, this is Draven from the US Burning Legion server, and today we're going to be taking a look at Enhancement DPS for the Shaman. Once again, we'll be using my Shaman, Draven Mirko, and he has, over time, with a throwback set and some randoms, collected a 358 item level for his enhancement set. He has no tier pieces, and he is not hit or expertise capped. Spell hit, at least. But he still does quite well. Don't get me wrong. In part 1 of this guide, we're going to go ahead and cover stats, which is a big part of the Enhancement Shaman. Spec, glyphs, my UI and add-ons, and possibly a wee bit of rotation. So let's jump right in with stats. As an Enhancement Shaman, your top stat is going to be Agility. Following that is hit rating until you hit the spell cap of 17%. That is not an easy cap to get. As you can see, I'm only at 14.44%. It is a nasty little cap, but it's definitely needed. Take this over your expertise cap over everything else. Back to the stat priority. Agility, spell hit cap of 17%. Then comes expertise hit cap of 26%. Holding expertise, our absolute biggest DPS throughput stat is mastery. Stack as much mastery as you can via reforging and enchanting once you've gotten your 2 caps. Spell to 17, expertise to 26. After mastery comes crit, followed by the red-headed stepchild of them all, haste. You don't want haste anymore. Haste is no longer that amazing stat it was in Wrath of the Lich King, unfortunately. So, big overall recap. Agility over hit rating to the spell cap of 17%, over expertise to the cap of 26 for both main hand and offhand, over mastery, over crit, over haste, over strength. Alright. Enchanting and gemming it's pretty basic. The rule of thumb for gemming, if the socket bonus isn't 20 agility, just don't go for the bonus and go for 40 agility in that socket. If you need the hit rating, you could possibly put 20 agility, 20 hit rating in the blue sockets if they are worth getting. Weapons, you want slow weapon speed. The slower, the better. 2.6 is what I've got, both main hand, offhand. I got a 353 main hand and a 359 offhand. Landslide enchantments are a must. In terms of personal, just shaman buffs for weapons, you want Wind Fury on the main hand, Flame Tongue on the offhand. It is a must. You must have it that way. If you are considering to use a spell power weapon, a caster main hand, I believe you will be wanting to use 2 Flame Tongue weapon enchants. Alright, moving on to spec. As always, instead of going everything I did take, I'm going to go over what I did not take and explain why. My spec, I don't often raid as enhancement, so I set it up mostly for the purposes of doing this test. Keep that in mind. I didn't take Totemic Reach because I don't think I'm going to outrange my totems at the dummy. If you're good with your placement and you understand the fight mechanics, you shouldn't have to worry about the range of your totems. Toughness, PvP stat, you don't need extra stamina really. It's not worth the points. Frozen Power, another amazing PvP stat, but it ain't going to help you any. We don't need to be rooting stuff, and we will rarely, if ever, cast Frost Shock in PvE. Seasoned Winds. This is actually a pretty decent talent for PvP. Every time you interrupt, you gain resistance to that school of magic, which can, albeit, come in handy in a raid environment. I'll give them that. It can come in handy, but it's situational, and in my opinion, it's not worth having. Earthen Power. I don't expect to be snared a whole lot when I'm fighting a raid boss. I don't see this as being useful. I consider it basically a trash talent, PvP talent. Shamanistic Rage. Now this is where some people are like scratching their head like, hey, why didn't he take that ability? This is a great damage mitigation cooldown. Mana is not an issue for us. We don't even know what mana is as enhancement, but it's a great damage mitigation cooldown, and it can definitely save your ass in a quick hurry if you're not paying attention. You get that big spike of damage. Shanix is going to be throwing his spear right next to you, and you didn't move. Pop Shamanistic Rage, and you have a chance to survive. So, good talent, definitely worth taking. If you were to take it, simply take a point out of, Ancestral Swiftness, or, probably Improved Shields. I'd probably take it out of Improved Shields. It's good talent. I didn't take it because I'm not raiding with it. If I start to raid as enhancement, I'll probably pick that talent up and take out Improved Shields. Alright, took everything else. Nothing in the resto tree. Going into Elemental, I took 3 out of Concussion and 3 into Incuity because there wasn't a whole lot of better choices. I ended up taking Call of Flame for the increased Fire Nova damage on AoE situations, and even though we may not rock the AoE charts, we can help out. And last but not least, Reverberation to reduce the cooldown on our shocks and our wind shear. This makes us an interrupting pro. With that, our interrupt is on a 5-second cooldown. You can't pass that up. It's the quickest interrupt in the game. Quickest cooldown for it. I went with it. Let's take a look at my glyphs. For glyphs, Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Wind Fury Weapon. For majors, Chain Lightning, Fire Nova, Lightning Shield. Lightning Shield, if any of them, I would say is only one quote-unquote must. We don't have a lot of choices. You could pick up Ghost Wolf, you could pick up Healing Stream, but those are both pretty solid choices for a raid. But more often than not, you've already got someone else providing, resistances. So, I would leave that one out. Chain Lightning just makes you a little bit more useful on AoE fights, and Fire Nova makes you a little bit more useful on AoE fights, albeit I haven't seen very many of them in Firelands. So, personal preferences, take what you like. Minors, if they even matter, Astral Recall, Renewed Life, Water Walking, and that's it. Let's take a wee bit and look at my macros. Again, as I mentioned in every video, if you're familiar with my playstyle, I use a lot of Alt modifier keys. If I hold Alt, my 1 through 4 changes. So, if that's what you're like, oh hey, why does buttons change? That's why. Keep that in mind. I do, as always, have a 1-button cooldown macro, and I actually have 2 of them, one with a potion and one without a potion. I change them out during fights sometimes if I want to save my potion till later on, but I'm too lazy to just walk over here and click it. I'll just simply move these 2. Button 3 on my mouse is my hotkey for it, so personal preference, not needed, I do it anyways. Ellie. Let's take a look at the one that actually matters. I got Blood Fury, my potion, and my Feral Spirits. That's all we really got, guys. We don't have a lot of awesome cooldowns. That's what we have. We make it work. Blood Fury, if you picked a Orc racial, if you're a Troll, Berserking, your potion, on-use trinket if you got it, and Feral Spirits. Other than that, nothing real special going on with my macros. Quick overview of my UI up here is an add-on called Titan Panel, completely for utility. I have Healbot right here because I'm main spec Resto, and I just show it, both specs. This add-on is ForteXorcist. It's a cooldown tracker. It tracks internal cooldowns on trinkets, buffs, stuff like that. Nifty to have. I enjoy it. I keep it around. Add-on, chatbox add-on called Prat. My bars are set up like this thanks to Bartender. Buttons are all into circles with a nice outline because of button Facade. My map is all glitzy because of Sexy Map, completely cosmetic. I have Omen over here, Recount, Skada, because Skada seems to pick up some stuff that Recount won't. And if I'm raiding, I have one set to healing and one set to damage, and I can track both for my group. This is a heads-up display. It's simply, I really don't even need it on this tune, but I'm used to having it, so I keep it there. Let's take a look at my power auras, and I do have a lot of them. Alright. There we go. There's all of them. Let's go from left to right. Right here is my 5 stacks of Maelstrom weapon. Sometimes I may not see the image. I definitely don't track the proc over here. So it's a quick, easy way. You know, if I have only 4 pieces or 3 pieces lit up, I know I've got 3 stacks of it, 4 stacks of it. Once I see that middle pop in, time to use my free cast. That's Proculus. Proculus is a great add-on for tracking, you know, how many times something like a trinket procced or whatever. It's definitely very handy. Right here, this is my Searing Totem. Basically, it just tells me how many stacks my targeted debuff Searing Flames is on the person. That way I'm not lava lashing with like 2 stacks. This is just it tells me if flame shock is not on the target. So I know, hey, flame shock, because I'm not looking right here. So I just have a bigger magnified image of it. Over here, these 2 outside glowy ones are a trinket proc, I do believe. This is Landslide. Back when I had it, this was Hurricane. Down here is another trinket proc, Essence of the Cyclone. And basically, I want as many of these lit up, well, the bottom one, the outside one, and Landslide, to tell me that my procs are up. I want that before I summon my pets and do all that jazz. That's about it for power auras. Let's go ahead and take a quick overview of rotation. Our rotation is quite simple. It's a priority list like everybody else. And once you've learned this rotation, this priority, you'll see your DPS shoot up incredibly. When I first dusted off my Enhancement Shaman, I was like trying to wing it. No, don't wing it. You know, I wouldn't even say find your own priority unless it works really well, because this one is the one that, for me, definitely made that difference between 14k DPS and 17k. And it is as follows. Searing Flames Totem down, and putting stacks on the target, followed by Storm Strike, greater than Lava Lash, greater than 5 Maelstrom weapon proc, so free cast, greater than Flame Shock with Unleashed Elements, greater than Unleashed Elements, greater than Earth Shock, greater than Fire Nova if it's more than 1 target. So, again, real fast, Searing Totems over Storm Strike, over Lava Lash, over a free Lightning Bolt, over Flame Shock coupled with Unleashed Elements, and then if Flame Shock's on cooldown, or you don't need to refresh it, but Unleashed Elements is up, go ahead and cast it anyways. So over Unleashed Elements, over Earth Shock, over Fire Nova. So that's a quick, brief overview, you guys. I'll go more into it in part 2. You guys will see it in action. You'll see what kind of numbers I can pull. Our AoE is nothing special. You Flame Shock as many targets as you can. You lay a Magma Totem down. You Fire Nova when it's off cooldown. Storm Strike, Lava Lash, you know, melee attack like you would. If you got 5 Maelstrom weapons, Chain Lightning, Unleash Elements, Fire Nova, more Flame Shocks. We're not too sexy on the AoE, but push comes to shove, we can get it done. That should be everything for part 1. I believe I've covered everything I need to. And going into part 2, we'll take a deeper, in-depth look at rotation, and we'll see what kind of numbers I can pull. So I will see you guys there. Rate, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, tell your guildies. Tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm doing wrong. I like the feedback. So, see you guys in part 2. Later.